America is not a racist country.
Ladies and gentlemen, several states across the country have made attempts to end qualified immunity. So far, about a dozen states. And every time they tried to end it, police officers and unions have been able to shut it down. So, this is the Washington Post, October 7th, 2021. In recent months after George Floyd's murder, state legislators across the country tried to undo a legal doctrine that makes it virtually impossible to sue police officers for violating a person's civil rights. Fueled by the outrage over actions of Derek Chauvin, we know he's a former police officer, jailed, a convicted murderer, and efforts to eliminate qualified immunity seems poised to usher in a new era empowering citizens who felt wronged by police. But then, in a state after state, the bill was withdrawn or it was altered beyond recognition. At least 35 state qualified immunity bills have died in the past 18 months, according to an analysis by the Washington Post of legislative records and data from the National Conference of State Legislatures. An effort failed amid multifaceted lobbying campaigns by police officers and their unions targeting legislators, many of whom feared public backlash if the dire predictions by police came true. Officers said they would go bankrupt or lose their homes. They said their colleagues would leave the profession in droves. Yeah, but you're already quitting in droves. That's already happening, isn't it? While advocates argued that qualified immunity allows rogue officers to brutalize citizens without paying a personal price, law enforcement officials countered that it would protect police from being financially destroyed if the rapid life or death decisions they make on the job. So far, police are winning the argument nearly everywhere. That's because you got weak ass people in charge. Among at least four bills that are still alive, three initially called for the complete ban on qualified immunity. One of these, in Michigan, has since been amended to allow use of the legal defense in many instances. And among the seven qualified immunity bills that have come into law since last year, only Colorado has completely barred the legal defense for officers. Iowa actually strengthened. They actually made qualified immunity stronger. In Iowa, rights of the officers in Arkansas did so. So they pretty much did the same thing in Arkansas. They strengthened qualified immunity not only for officers, but for its college and university police officers. They just don't want, especially us, to have any protection. They want us to be in this constant terrorized state. That's what they want. They want us on this 24-hour cycle of being terrorized, because in their sick, evil, demented minds, they think that's keeping us in line. Yeah, whatever. In New Mexico, changes were made quietly that many advocates didn't know that the ability to sue individual officers had been taken out as they testified for the bill. Stephanie Metz, a former legislator, tearfully told lawmakers earlier this year in an online hearing how a court granted qualified immunity to an Albuquerque homicide detective. she accuses of framing her 18-year-old son for murder. He was released and vindicated, and the real murderers were caught and are serving time. The 41-year-old said her son, um, there's no accountability for this officer and what he did to her son. He spent months behind bars. Mays did not know at the time that the bill she was supporting, the New Mexico Civil Rights Act, had been fundamentally altered days before uh, to drop a provision allowing people to sue officers in state court. Well, I guess it wouldn't help if you are trying to fight against this, but all the people sitting in these legislative positions are pro cop. I mean, look, that's the only way something like this could happen. And new language was inserted to explicitly prohibit an accuser from naming an officer in a state civil rights suit. Now, she has little doubt why the democratically controlled legislator, um, facing heavy pressure from police unions, assented to changing the bill, which was signed into law by the governor, Grisham, in April. If a lawmaker is concerned about police coming out or endorsing their opponent in the next election cycle, they will think twice before they do the right thing, Metz said. With crime being such a huge issue here, lawmakers don't want to look soft on crime. Such state house battles have become even more important as qualified immunity changes have stalled out in Congress. And that they don't want to do nothing for us, y'all. We already discussed this before, but you can see even on the local and state level, they are being bulldozed by these police unions on this. So it just looks to me when qualified immunity comes up, they gang up on these legislators and they end up breaking under the pressure, and qualified immunity stays intact. That's, just looking at this article, that's exactly what they are doing. I mean, they're literally being strong armed by these police officers and the union. So at this rate, y'all, I don't see qualified immunity going away. I don't see it. I mean, look, it fell apart in Congress. It should not have fallen apart in Congress at all, but it did. And now you're seeing all of these other states that tried to tackle the same issue, and they're getting the same results that Congress got. It's not going nowhere. I'm just telling y'all, this is a clear sign. Qualified immunity is not going anywhere. You don't have strong legislators that have our best interests at heart, and we never will at this point. They're not coming. So, that being said, look, they don't want you to sue these officers. It is very obvious. I mean, how much? I mean, 12 over 12 states tried to do something about qualified immunity, and every single one lost to the police unions. I mean, how hard are these people trying? Wow, what a disgrace. But y'all, please tell me what you think. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace, family.